there, dear listener. We hope you're enjoying this lovely discussion. If you're not already aware, this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio. A Pan-African Nationalist and Garveyite network come to showcasing the rich and varied thoughts of African people. We have an exciting lineup of shows that we think you'll enjoy, including
the Victor Method Podcast.
I think black people require too much buy-in. Like, we constantly have to sell black people on things that are beneficial to black people.
The Pro-Black Perspective Podcast.
I'm fearful that our people are not really studying how to get ahead, and we're kind of, continually staying behind.
The Harsh Reality Podcast.
I think people so dumbed down, it wouldn't matter what you reveal to them. They still are in the matrix, they're in the simulation. They don't keep doing what they get their livings. So please don't learn.
The Learning Curve Podcast.
Sexual access has never given you economic empowerment. The only person who has ever been economically empowered by a sexual relationship is the wasp and the woman.
The Cathedral Cheek Show.
We're not hard enough to fight for home. I guarantee you they'll stop doing what they're doing. I guarantee you they would let their brother go. They wait and see what black folks are going to do.
Brother Bakari Podcast.
Black people love to claim folks that hate them, right? They are slave masters, and they are ashamed of who they really are.
The Podcast Radio.
Like, you come to the same deity as, like, your enemy, and that God blesses your enemy more than you may want to reconsider who you pray to,
And Tanzan, African Mind.
Because generally, a welcoming of everyone, sometimes to my consternation, I think that they should be welcoming.
If you love our podcast network, we would be grateful if you could rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website at www.kwazradio.com for more information. Thank you for tuning in. And now, back to the program.
Peace, family. So you're tuning into the Pro-Black Perspective, obviously. What we're going to do today is we're actually going to do something a little different. We're going to start reading this book, Propaganda, because I feel like it's about time. I've heard about, I think I was watching some Netflix show, and they brought up Bernays, and I was like, you know what? Let me read this motherfucker. They said he was like Freud's nephew or some shit. I don't know. Point is that he writes this manual in 1928, before the Second World War, on how to do propaganda. And I read the first page and I was like, yeah, this is something that maybe I should have read. Maybe we should read as a people. And you're going to see a lot of similar things inside of Uangalifu. It's just I'm ready to receive more information. One of the things about reading is that you have to be ready. In fact, Garvey says a reading man is a ready man, but a writing man is exact, right? But the whole thing is that reading gets you ready. That's it. Reading gets you ready. Whatever it is that the writer wants you to be ready about, that's what reading is doing. So what this book right here, you should expect to be ready to understand or even implement propaganda. So we're starting off with chapter 1, Organizing Chaos. So we're just going to read this. Well, let's see if it's the whole chapter 1. Yeah, we're going to read this. It's probably going to be 10 pages. We might do two paragraphs, 2 chapters. I don't know. But for now, let's just see where this goes. So the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. You hear that? The conscious and intelligent manipulation. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me, actually. All right. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. What he's saying is this: democracy is organized by manipulators. This is not 2024. This is 1928. It's not the woke brokes on Twitter. This is not, who else you could think of. It's not, some radical black nationalist. This is Freud's Freud's nephew or some shit. Okay? And he's telling you in his first paragraph how he opens his book. I'm assuming that there was an introduction and it's out of it, but how he pretty much opens his book when he says, look, I want to write a book. How can I introduce the subject? Here, this is the whole basis. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. The true ruling class are those who manipulate behind the scenes the mechanisms of society. Those who manipulate the organized habits and opinions of the masses are the true ruling class of democracy, of democratic society. So remember, democracy means the rule of the people. And this is an individual in 1928, not 2024, not 1944, not whatever. This is an individual from 1928 telling you, hey, look, this is an individual from 1928 telling you, I think we're only going to read one chapter, obviously, but he's telling you he's telling you that there is no freaking rule of the masses. There are people pulling levers that rule democratic societies. This is why I tell you, don't fuck with democracy. You will be, even in a true democracy, you'll get fucked over. Because somebody else put it, all organization is oligarchy. And that's probably another book I should be reading. But all organization is oligarchy. What that means is every society, every organization on this planet, including your family, is ruled by a small minority. Minority of elites, sure, but a small minority. But anyway, let's keep going. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. Vast numbers of human beings must cooperate in this manner if they are to live together as a smoothly functioning society. And it's like this. Look, Kendrick Lamar, right? I didn't listen to it, but most people have. Well, not most people have, but a lot of people have. Kendrick Lamar releases a diss track for this artist named Drake. Now, I don't know who Kendrick Lamar is. I know more about Drake than Kendrick Lamar, but I really don't know either of them. I know Drake has a song, I Got Enemies, and I heard Hotline Bling, I think. I don't know if I remember it, but, I know he sings that song. He's a mixed mulatto, whatever. But Kendrick Lamar, black man, he has a song like Royalty, I Got Royalty in My Veins, or something like that. DNA, I think it's called. But the point is this. They released this song. There's two individuals as significant as you or me. And, when I say you or me, I'm not that damn significant. Okay? He releases, apparently Kendrick Lamar, I didn't listen to it, but apparently Kendrick Lamar has like some shitty ass playground beat, some shitty beat. And he's talking all this bullshit about Drake. Everybody and their mama talking about the freaking song that he releases. Why? If he's just as significant as you or I on a DNA level, on a genetic level, he's just as significant as you or I, why is it that he could release a track on a bad beat, dissing some dude, right? Another dude just as significant as you, right? Or me, on a DNA level, although he's not, pure African, but you get what I'm saying. And everybody and their mama talking about it, to the point where even the original founder of Twitter is retweeting truth versus lies. You know, or even another guy, what's his name? Suge Knight is in prison. The dude's in prison, okay? And he's like, hey, I don't like how he's talking about light-skinned people, okay? And of course, Drake's not light-skinned, he's mixed, but you get what I'm saying. The point is that there is some sort of mechanism that you're not involved in, that you don't know the people who are involved with it, but somehow they're able to pass information very rapidly. Very, very, very rapidly around to diverse people around the planet. Okay, they were talking about this shit in Japan. They were like, yo, Kendrick said some, Kendrick was, he destroyed this guy. In Japan, in Japanese characters, in Japanese letters. How? And if you got to understand, that's a very significant tool for anybody to have. And some people have it. Now, in America, there's a conspiracy theory that there's a certain demographic that has it. And I'm not saying that the demographic does or doesn't. But what I'm telling you is that it's very, very important, very, very critical for you to have control of such an instrument as that, where you're reaching people in prison, you're reaching people in Japan, you're reaching people and why? And you can't say, well, it's because the music is good, because it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't hear it, but... And I don't mean it's not good in the sense of, I meant... You get what I'm saying. I don't want nobody coming at me. Sorry. Our invisible governors are, in many cases, unaware of the identity of their fellow members in the inner cabinet. Now, this might have been the case in 1928. Okay? This might have been the case in 1928. But people develop, people grow. He's like, look, the powers that be may not even know each other, right? Conspiracy theory, conspiracy, whatever. But the reality is this: sometimes the powers that be do. So he says they govern us by their qualities of natural leadership, their ability to supply needed ideas, and by their key positions in the social structure. Whatever attitude one chooses to take toward this condition, it remains a fact that in almost every act of our daily lives, whether in the sphere of politics or business, in our social conduct or our ethical thinking, we are dominated by a relatively small number of persons, a trifling fraction of our 120 million who understand the mental processes and social patterns of the masses. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind, who harness old social forces and contrive new ways to bind and guide the world. I don't know what 120 million is referring to. Maybe it's the population of America. I'm not sure. I don't know if he was in America. I don't know if he's an American. I thought he was European, but whatever. He's saying it's a small number of people. And they use their intelligence. They use their strategy. Remember in my book, I tell you, be strategic. They use their strategic mind to control the public mind. You see? Because if Kendrick Lamar or Drake are just as significant as me, right? Do you think when I release this podcast, or in fact I'm listening right now, do you think, what are the odds? I go check the numbers of how many people are listening. The last time I checked, just 2 minutes ago, it was 3 people, right? But what are the odds that it's going to be, I don't know, 200,000 people? What are the odds? Listening to the whole thing, and you might say, well, look, Oni, you don't understand the mental processes and the social patterns of the masses, right? What they want is a diss track. But even if I went on a diss track, because even like last podcast was kind of a diss, to Rotendo. Even if I went on a diss track, nobody gives a shit, If I were to make an article, make a post about Drake, even over a song or a beat, nobody gives a fuck. Now there's a lot to it. There's a lot, but here's the thing you want to say. You say, well, yeah, Odie, you're not Kendrick. Okay, you know what? Kendrick wasn't Kendrick 15 years ago. You understand? Kendrick wasn't Kendrick. I'm not saying that's not his real name, because it probably is his real name. I mean, I don't know. But what I mean is that he was insignificant at one point too. But, and of course you might say, well, you got to play the game. All right, you know what? Let's stop speculating on this. The whole point is that the reality is this. And here's the thing that you're going to pick up on when you look at old music videos, or you look at music videos of people's initial music videos. There are people in the background. There are people in the background that don't even look like them. I'll just put it that way. So he says, not usually realize how necessary these invisible governors are to the ordinary function of our group life. In theory, every citizen may vote for whom he pleases. Our Constitution does not, so I think it's America. Yeah, he says America. Our Constitution does not envisage political parties as part of the mechanism of government, and its framers seem not to have pictured to themselves the existence in our national politics of anything like the modern political machine. But the American voters soon found that without organization and direction, their individual votes, cast perhaps for dozens or hundreds of candidates, would produce nothing but confusion. Invisible government in the shape of rudimentary political parties arose almost overnight. Ever since then, we have agreed for the sake of simplicity and practicality that party machines should narrow down the field of choice to 2 candidates, or at most 3 or 4. So again, I was thinking you were talking about the media, but right here he's talking about political parties. And remember, I tell you, and I said parties like that girl on on that show, but anyway. But yeah, political parties. Remember, I'm telling you, you got to create political parties too. So you see in the title, I say Garveyite and Mwangalifu. That's a reference to my book. Bit of Medicine Podcast, He Hates His Peace. Peace, brother. That's a reference to my book too. But Mwangalifu, you know, that's a political party. Like get with it. So he says, in theory, every citizen makes up his mind on public questions and matters of private conduct. In practice, if all men had to study for themselves the abstruse economic, political, and ethical data involved in every question, they would find it impossible to come to a conclusion about anything. We have voluntarily agreed to let an invisible government sift through the data and high spot the outstanding issues so that our field of choice shall be narrowed to practical proportions. From our leaders and the media they use to reach the public, we accept the evidence and the demarcation of issues. And you see, he says the media. From our leaders in the media, we accept the evidence and the demarcation of issues bearing upon public questions. From some ethical teacher, be it a minister, a favorite, essayist, or merely prevailing opinion, we accept the standardized code of social conduct to which we conform most of the time. So he's like, look, see again, these are the elites, the teachers, the ministers, even the essayists sometimes, right? The favorite essayists. You see, not just any essayists, the favorite essayists. These are the elites. The the ruling class, if a sense, right? The leaders, the media. And what's important is this. I want to point this out because one of the things that really got me into this too, besides the show I was watching, right, was this, there was this article, there was this comment by this politician who said, according to polling data, Americans overwhelmingly support Israel, right? Overwhelmingly are behind giving money to, and it's like, well, where are you getting this polling data from? You see? And the thing is that people can position themselves, quote unquote media, can position themselves to feed the leaders, so the leaders who are already the leaders who are positioned to feed the public get the information from the media. So the media basically can now feed the public. So you own the media, then you own the leaders, because the leaders are not, they can't sift the public, like they can't answer these questions. You see? They can't do all this in every question. They would find it impossible to come to a conclusion about anything. They can't do this. They don't know the nuances of the Middle Eastern situation. They don't know the nuances of the Congolese or whatever situation. So they're going to come to the conclusion, hey, look, nobody cares about whatever the media doesn't care about. Because if the media, check this out, if the media wasn't really talking to the people, if the media wasn't the voice of the people, then the people would stop supporting it. But here's the thing, the people aren't supporting the media. The elites are supporting the media. So it really comes back to, and you're going to see this side of the Uangalifu chapter on Be Strategic. You're going to see that it all comes back to how the leaders, how the elites use different stratagems, okay, to dominate. And this is just one of them. Propaganda is just one of them. So in theory, everybody buys the best and cheapest commodities offered him on the market. In practice, if everyone went around pricing and chemically testing before purchasing the dozens of soaps or fabrics or brands of bread which are for sale, economic life would become hopelessly jammed. To avoid such confusion, society consents to have its choices narrowed down to ideas and objects brought to its attention through propaganda of all kinds. There is consequently a vast and continuous effort going on to capture our minds in the interest of some policy or commodity or idea. Matter of fact, I'm just reminded, Revolutionary Matron's here, shout out to Revolutionary Matron. I'm just reminded of this post I just saw on Twitter. And I want to show you guys this post I just saw on Twitter because it's like, this is nothing to do with a freaking America. This has nothing to do with freaking America. Okay? This post is some guy is going around in South Africa, Zania. Okay? He's going on to Zania and he's like, what party are you going to vote for? Right? And basically there are two white, like let's use the word, right? Or let's say there's two white power, parties in Tanzania. There's ANC and there's DA. DA is super white power, right? ANC is like, everybody, right? And then there's thing. For some reason, my internet's not loading this page, so I'm not gonna thing. My internet's not loading it. But basically, the young people who are being interviewed are saying they're gonna vote for the ANC. Why? Because there was some fat, bald guy, right, dancing. Like he did some addictive dance, like some interesting dance with an ANC jersey on. So they were like, yeah, I'm going to cast my vote for the ANC. Even though the EFF would have been the best choice. But anyway, let's keep going. It might be better to have, instead of propaganda and special pleading, communities of wise men who would choose our rulers, dictate our conduct, private and public, and decide upon the best type of clothes for us to wear and the best kind of food for us to eat. But we have chosen the opposite method, that of open competition. So again, now he makes it a little bit exaggerated, but this right here is what humans do. This right here is what humans do. Okay? Matter of fact, there's this video game. What's it called? I used to play it a little bit. My brother wants me to play it. Crusader Kings, right? And video games are not that important. But sometimes video games, what they do is they simulate, not reality, but they simulate some sort of history in some sort of way that's a little bit interesting, intriguing, right? So, in Crusader Kings, you have this, you could basically get a war minister, you can get a finance minister, you can get a religious minister, a culture minister. Basically, you as the king can appoint different ministers over the well-being of your people and ask those particular ministers to, provide a function in your society, right? That is what people have done historically. That's what we've done in Africa. You go down the list of African civilizations and you say, you know what? They appointed leaders of particular functionality for so on and so forth. They did not just leave it to everybody to choose. And if they did, and worse than everybody choosing is a few people who are unqualified to choose, who are simply just manipulating people so that they can make the choices that the unqualified people want. So you go from qualification, you go from quality to quantity, and not even quantity, you just go from quality to no quality. That's what democracy is. Not quantity, quality to no quality. So it says we want open competition. It says we must find a way to make free competition function with reasonable smoothness. To achieve this, society is consented to permit free competition to be organized by leadership and propaganda. We didn't consent to this shit. But again, here's the trouble though. I always point this out. The trouble is this. You're in another man's, if you're in another man's country, you're in another man's country. I think I got the video up. So I'm going to show you guys. Let's hope this works. Sure, I almost made a mistake, but all right. Let's see. Revolutionary Matrons here. She says, we do not consent to the propaganda, and the propaganda is offered as the only option, and the masses choose which propaganda they will buy into. Yeah, we pick and choose somewhat. You know what I mean? We pick and choose somewhat. That's the trouble. You know? So right here, you got this. This is it says, what's your favorite political party? Of course, this one with the fat bald man dancing. So,
what's your favorite political party of choice? Why? Hi. What's your favorite political party of choice? Why? Hi. What's your political?
So she said DA. One of them said DA, which is like the, like the white power one.
Favorite political party of choice? Why?
So I don't know if you guys can see it because it's so small, but the fat bald guy in the corner. That's why they said. He says, "Why are you voting for this party?" Well, fat bald guy is dancing. Now, of course, if you want to see it a little bigger, you can go to my page, Onitaset. But
what's your political party of choice? Why? What's your political party of choice? Why? What's your favorite political party of choice? Why?
You see, like a couple of them, when you hear the music playing, that's what they're doing. They're basically doing the stupid dance. But that's it. What's your favorite political party? Of course, the one with the fat bald man dancing. Duh. Propaganda. Let's go back to the PDF. Let's see, what are we doing? Oh yeah, so some of the phenomena of this process are criticized. The manipulation of news, the inflation of personality, and the general ballyhoo by which politicians and commercial products and social ideas are brought to the consciousness of the masses. The instruments by which public opinion is organized and focused may be misused, but such organization and focusing are necessary to orderly life. So again, you have this Drake phenomenon. Not Drake phenomenon, but Kendrick phenomenon, right? Where, the inflation of the personality, the manipulation of the news, general ballyhoo by which politicians and commercial products, you don't know of anything serious. Like, generally speaking, you will not know of anything serious. Like, even this, I'll put it this way. Even though Ibrahim is kicking butt in Burkina Faso, have you ever heard about him on mainstream media? Because here's the thing, we talk about him on secluded Twitter circles, right? But have you ever heard of Ibrahim in Burkina Faso, even though that's a massive undertaking he's taking? It's a massive country. It's a massive it's a hugely historical event. Like the breakaway of France, the dismissal of American troops, and all that kind of stuff. Even though that's huge, do you hear about that in American? And is that played back to back? Is that as popular as Drake getting dissed by Kendrick Lamar? No. And you got to see, like, one of them is selling products. I don't know what Kendrick's selling. I don't know if he's selling anything, honestly. Right? But one of them is selling products. Or one of them is damn sure not selling the product or one of them is selling the product of hip-hop, rap, the culture, blah, 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 blah. Right? The other one is selling black power. And that's what they don't want you to know. I'll put it that way. One of them is pretend black power, Oh, you're a damn mulatto and blah, blah, blah. You're not really about the culture. I don't like you, right? And the other one is, get the fuck out of my country, France. You fucking stupid idiot. There's a difference. There's a difference. One of them is black power. And one of them is, blacks, beating their chest. Oh, I'm such a bad guy. I'll tell you, get out of my culture. You can't say the N-word to me, nigga. I don't mean to say it, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, like what the fuck? Like who gives a shit? Anyway, as civilization has become more complex and as the need for invisible government has been increasingly demonstrated, the technical means have been invented and developed by which opinion may be regimented. Okay? As civilization has become more complex and the need for invisible government has become increasingly demonstrated, the technical means have been invented and developed by which means be regimented. Now this is an important word. He's saying, not saying that opinions will be shaped, but opinions will be regimented. What does that mean? It means that they're going to put you in a box. You're going to get to choose between the choices they give you. You're not a free thinker. You're going to think you're a free thinker because you chose one of the fucking boxes they gave you. They hand you, I'll tell you the boxes they give you. They give you the Democrats box. They give you they give you the Democrats box. They give you the Republicans box. Then they give you the Socialist box. And they give you the Fascist box. Okay? They give you those 4 boxes. And they say most people choose to be a Democrat or a Republican. But if you're really radical, right, you could be a fascist or a socialist. None of these are black power. And I'm saying that to you because you're black, but even the white person don't got a choice for black power. Even the white person don't even fathom anything about black power. And I'm not saying that he should. I'm not saying that he should be given that choice. What I'm telling you is that it's outside of his ken. It's outside of his understanding of the fucking world. You're not asking for that. You're asking for a socialist government. You're not asking for that. You're asking for democracy. You're asking for Democrats. They regimented you to the point where they give you the 2 main choices and they show you the alternative choices. And they try to scare you with the alternative choices. If you are leaning to the left, they try to scare you with fascists. If you're leaning to the right, they try to scare you with socialists. There's nothing else. There's no Ma'at. Egypt was the greatest civilization on the face of the fucking planet. You don't learn jack shit about it, except for that they built pyramids. That's it. The greatest, longest lasting civilization on the human planet. The inventors of literature, mathematics, science, all of that. You don't learn anything about it. People who live to be 120 years old on a regular. You know nothing about it. Why? Because you're regimented. You're not a free thinker. You're a regimented thinker. And so the propaganda, look, this is the propaganda. Your people, the FBA, ADOS type, they will tell you, hey, look, I'm an FBA, you're a tether. Regimented. And even you might, and look, Pan-Africanism is not necessarily a regiment per se, but it is something that, but it is a regiment in a sense. It's not one that they're giving you, but it is one in a sense. It's one they want you to avoid, absolutely. Especially Garveyism, especially. But they don't give you that. I tell you, I was in college the first time I heard of Pan-Africanism. The only radical idea I heard about was black nationalism. I tell you guys all the time, these white boys, they tried to keep me away from it. They tried to keep me away from it. They're like, oh, you sound like, you're not a Democrat. You sound like you're not interested in socialism. You're not interested in fascism. You're not interested in Democrats. You're not interested in Republicans. I hope you're not a black nationalist. They didn't even mention Pan-Africanism. They said, I hope you're not a black nationalism. You know why? Because the black nationalists are stupid. They said, they told me this. They said black nationalists believe that Yaqub invented white folk. And I was like, that sounds so fucking stupid. I don't want to be a black nationalist if Yaqub. And it's true. You read Malcolm X's autobiography, he tell you, yeah, Yaqub invented. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. Because see, the white boy thinks he created life. He's going to create life with artificial intelligence. And even he said he want to pull the plug. So why would Yaqub invent white folk and not pull the plug? Come on. And he got that big head? Come on, something ain't right. You should have known better than that. You should have known better than that. Revolutionary Mentor says the media made available for you to consume is curated for your consumption to keep you ignorant and powerless. It's all a distraction. Give you the illusion of choice. Exactly. The media is a weapon of mass distraction. Not mass distraction, mass distraction. That's it. Put you in a regimen. They're training you. With the printing press and the newspaper, the railroad, the telephone, telegraph, radio, and airplanes, ideas can be spread rapidly and even instantaneously over the whole of America. H.G. Wells senses the vast potential of these inventions when he writes in the New York Times. Modern means of communication, the power afforded by print, telephone, wireless, and so forth, of rapidly putting through directive, strategic, or technical conceptions to a great number of cooperating centers, of getting quick replies and effective discussion, have opened up a new world of political processes. Ideas and phrases can now be given an effectiveness greater than the effectiveness of any personality and stronger than any sectional interest. The common design can be documented and sustained against perversion and betrayal. It can be elaborated and developed steadily and widely without personal, local, and sectional misunderstanding. So he's like, look, what Mr. Wells says of political processes is equally true of commercial and social processes and all manifestations of mass activity. The groupings of affiliations of society today are no longer subject to local and sectional limitations. You see, once upon a time, you can put it this way, the music in one part of the world would be the music in one part of the world. Now the music is global. Like I told you guys, people in Japan are talking about, damn, that Kendrick track. Oh, Drake was smoked. In Japan, they're writing the Japanese characters, and they're not black. All right. When the Constitution was adopted, the unit, and you gotta picture this too. The songs in fucking English, they are writing in Japanese. How the fuck? You know, how the fuck do they listen to the song? But anyway, when the Constitution, like, look, you can play a Swahili song with me all day. I don't know what the fuck it's saying. You know. How I go, mapenzi yatanua yona vita. I don't know what the fuck this then. When the Constitution was adopted, the unit of organization was the village community. Okay, when the Constitution was adopted, when the Americans made their country, the unit of organization was the village community, which produced the greater part of its own necessary commodities and generated its group ideas and opinions by personal contact and discussion among its citizens. But today, because ideas can be instantaneously transmitted to any distance and to any number of people, this geographical integration has been supplemented by many other kinds of groupings, so that persons having the same ideas and interests may be associated and regimented for common action, even though they live thousands of miles apart. And I want people to understand, the whole goal is common action. That's what this white boy is doing. This white boy is doing common action. See, that's why I plan on listening to the Kendrick song. I ain't gonna hold you. I plan on listening to it. I mean, I gotta figure out where to start. But the thing about the Kendrick song is this: it's just name calling. It's just black folk name calling. And so the only thing I've seen significant from it was there's this guy, this white boy named DJ Vlad. He's deep in the black community for some reason. White boy, okay? He says, Kendrick's beat was lame or some shit like that. And then some sister, some black woman comes and says, mind your business, white boy. You know, like basically, mind your business, white man. It's not about you, it's for black folk. And so then Vlad is like, don't you work at Princeton? And he asks Princeton. He's like, I'm going to have a word with Princeton on your behalf because you there trying to be discriminatory. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not trying to be discriminatory. I'm just, he's like, look, I'm talking to Princeton on Monday. That's it. But there's so much in there. But in fact, there's actually a lot in there. One I want to say, because it's even related to what we're talking about. One I want to say is, the only action that the rap battles give you is the name call. Hey, shut up, black, shut up, white boy. You're not in our culture. That's it. But check this out. This random guy, DJ Vlad, who's also a media personality, right, with a large reach, right? He is able to contact the fucking University of Princeton, one of the elite universities on the fucking planet, one of the elite universities in America. He's able to contact, or he thinks he's able to contact that school and get an instantaneous response. Now, remember, you go back to when America was founded, If somebody from Princeton said some dumb shit, said some fuck shit, you might not get a response for another 2 months. Right? You might take a month to contact them, depending on where you at. Right? You might take a month to contact them and a month to get a response back. Okay? This guy could just act them and say, look, I'll talk to Princeton on Monday. Now, I'm not saying he will or won't. But it's actually possible. It's actually possible. That's the modern technology that we have. Or technology that we have. Right? Let's go back to the book. I looked at the comments. I ain't seen no comments. Let me see if there's any less people watching. So we went from 3 to down to 1, I guess. But it says it's extremely difficult to realize how many and diverse are these cleavages in our society. They may be social, political, economic, racial, religious, or ethical, with hundreds of subdivisions of each. In the World Almanac, for example, the following groups are listed under the A's. The League of Abolished Capital Punishment. You see this? Look at this. The League of Abolished Capital Punishment. Is capital punishment abolished? No. Association to Abolish War. Is war abolished? No. American Institute of Accountants. Okay. Actors Equity Association. Actuarial Association of America. International Advertising Association. National Aeronautics Association. Albany Institute of History and Art. Amen Corner. They got Amen. American Academy in Rome, American Antiquarian Society, League for American Citizenship, American Federation of Labor, AMORC, Rosicrucian Order, Andiron Club, American Irish Historical Association, Anti-Cigarette League. Cigarettes gone? No. Anti-Profanity League. Are profanities gone? No. Archaeological Association of America, National Archery Association, Arion Singing Society, American Astronomical Association, Ayrshire Breeders Association, Aztec Club of 1847. Now, are there any Aztecs left? No, I'm joking. There are many more under the A section of this very limited list. The American Newspaper Annual and Directory for 1928 lists 22,128 periodical publications in America. I selected at random the ends published in Chicago. Watch out, guys. They are. But now look at this. I want you to realize this stuff. How many periodicals you got? You should have periodicals. Sometimes I sit down and I'm thinking to myself, because I'm reading these books, and I'm like, damn, they're talking about periodicals again. Matter of fact, some after the Netflix special, I decided to read that 3-body problem book, right? And yeah, the lady's talking about she's in she's doing astrophysics in China, and she's ordering astrophysics magazines and periodicals and journals, astrophysics journals from Europe and America. I'm thinking to myself, damn, why we don't got journals and periodicals? Why we don't have that? But it is what it is. So he says, Narod Bohemian Daily Newspaper, Narod Polski Polish Monthly, NARD, a pharmaceutical, National Corporation Reporter, National Culinary Progress for the hotel chefs, National Dog Journal, National Drug Clerk, National Engineer, National Grocer, National Hotel Reporter, National Income Tax Magazine, National Jeweler, National Journal of Chiropractics, National Livestock Producer, National Miller, National Nut News, okay, National Poultry, Butter and Egg Bulletin, National Provisioner for Meat Packers, National Real Estate Journal, National Retail Clothing. And you see, a lot of these things right here like this can tell you about the real estate market. This is where you get the inside. And look, I'll tell you this matter of fact. When I was trying to buy land in Tanzania, I had to, basically the way how you get hold of land is you got to go to a middle person who gets a piece of the profit of the land you're buying. So they probably get 10%, 20% addition to what you pay the person who owns the land, right? Basically, you go around and you ask people to show you some good land, and they try their fucking hardest to sell you the land so that they can get their fucking money, right? Because otherwise they're not doing shit. They're just sitting around waiting for somebody to buy land. But my point is this. They had no magazine, no national journal. They had no journal. They just you got to go to an area and look for some dude who's sitting around his motorcycle, or sitting around there on a motorcycle just waiting for somebody to come and buy land. That's what it was. It's kind of whatever. And it's the same with this. If you want to buy wholesale, big price, you know, poultry, butter, egg, cheap, you would probably get the National Poultry, Butter, and Egg Bulletin, or the National Nut News if you're looking for some nuts, I guess. I don't know. National Provisioner for meat packers. You know, this is the wholesale. They're writing, and it's good. It's good. It's good. National Retail Clothier, right? Again, if you want the wholesale. National Retail Lumber Dealer, National Safety News, National Spiritualist, National Underwriter, The Nation's Health. And you see, this is another thing. I want you to pay attention to this Natural Spiritualist. These white boys had it already. A lot of times, what we're doing in our little conscious circles is copying what the white boy is doing. A lot of times you go to peep that. You know, when you look, we talk about the alkaline diet. The guy, whatever his name is, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. He just read about it, probably in the National Spiritualist, and walked with it and ran with it. Anyway, National Underwriter, The Nation's Health, Novgianos, Lithuanian daily newspaper, Newcomer, Republican Weekly for Italians, Daily News. Now, Daily News is still around, obviously. The New World, Catholic Weekly, North American Banker, North American Veterinarian. I'm telling you, a magazine is a good damn thing. But I can't even organize that if I wanted to, low key. So the circulation of some of these publications is astonishing. The National Live, and of course, I'll put it this way though. Even though you might not be able to do this, you can do an Instagram for these same stuff. You can do an Instagram for these same stuff. Now, whether you're gonna make money, probably not, but you know, you could do an Instagram for that same stuff. But like I would say, focus on whatever it is you're focusing on. The circulation of some of these publications is astonishing. The National Livestock Producer has a sworn circulation of 155,978. The National Engineer of 20,328. The New World, an estimated circulation of 67,000. The greater number of the periodicals listed chosen at random from among 22,128 have a circulation in excess of 10,000. And so a lot of people are being reached by these fucking, like by reading. Now again, like nowadays you would have Instagram. I don't even say TikTok because, fuck America. But that's about it. Diversity of these publications is evident at a glance, yet they can only faintly suggest the multitude of cleavages which exist in our society, and along which flow information and opinion carrying authority to the individual groups. Right? Here are the conventions. Now this guy's just listing everything. Here are the conventions scheduled for Cleveland, Ohio, recording a single recent issue of World Convention. So he misspelled it. Dates a fraction of the 5,500 convention and rally schedule. The Employing Photo Engravers Association of America, the Outdoor Writers Association, the Knights of St. John, the Walther League, the National Knitted Outerwear Association, the Knights of St. Joseph, the Royal Order of the Sphinx, the Mortgage Bankers Association, the International Association of Public Employment Officials, the Kiwanis Club of Ohio, the American Photo Engravers Association, the Cleveland Auto Manufacturers Show, the American Society of Heating and Ventilating Engineers. Now, this is actually really important. They used to meet up in person. So again, you might have this Instagram, you might have the TikTok, you might have the Instagram, but you're not meeting up with these people. You're not taking action together. You're not making real life connections. Since other conventions can be held in 1928 were those of the Association of Limb Manufacturers Associations, the National Circus Fans Association of America, fucking weird, the American Naturopathic Association, I should have known that word, the American Trap Shooting Association, the Texas Folklore Association, the Hotel Greeters, the Fox Breeders Association, the Insecticide and Disinfectant Association. So again, people are walking around doing insecticide and disinfectant. The National Association of Egg Case and Egg Case Filler Manufacturers. So they have people making egg cases and meeting up, talk about making egg cases. How can you make them crack less or some shit? The American Bottlers of Carbonated Beverages. So the people who put together the soda that you drink, they used to meet up every fucking month or some shit, or once a year, I don't know. They used to meet up and talk about how to better bottle your soda. And the National Pickle Packers Association, not to mention the Terrapin Derby, most of them with banquets and orations attached. Banquets and orations, that's crazy. If all these thousands of formal organizations essentially could be listed and no complete list has ever been made, they would still represent but a part of those existing less formally but leading vigorous lives. Ideas are sifted and opinions stereotype in the neighborhood bridge club. You know, I actually had a friend. He was like a cracker lover, low key, but he actually invited me to play bridge with him. He was like, "You're good at math. Why don't you play bridge with me?" And I was like, "No, you're a fucking cracker." But anyway, you're a cracker lover. But anyway, okay. But leaders assert their authority through community drives and amateur theatricals. Again, this is the stuff I was telling people. This is the stuff. Leaders assert their authority through community drives. Thousands of women may unconsciously belong to a sorority which follows the fashion set by a single society leader. Life satirically expresses their idea in the reply, which it represents an American as giving to the Britisher who praises the country for having no upper and lower classes or castes. Yeah, all we have is the 400, the white-collar men, bootleggers, Wall Street barons, criminals, the DAR, the KKK, the colonial dames, the Masons, Kiwanis and Rotarians, the KFC, the Elks, the censors, the cognoscenti, the morons, heroes like Lindy, the WCTU, politicians, Mencanites, the Boobopsi, immigrants, broadcasters, and the rich and the poor. You know, so somebody says the Americans giving praise to the Britishers represents an American who is giving to the Britisher who praises his country. So he says the British tell the Americans, "Oh, good thing you guys don't have upper and lower classes." And he's like, "No, we have all these organizations and the rich and the poor." You know, so it's just a stupid joke, but you get it. So he says, "Yet it must be remembered." Actually, let me see if there's any comments on that. No. Okay. All right. So, 6 people. Woohoo! Let's go! Let's go! We're only 199,994 away from 200,000. So, and it must be remembered that these thousands of groups interlace. John Jones, besides being a Rotarian, is a member of a church, a fraternal order, of a political party, of a charitable organization, of a professional association, of a local chamber of commerce, of a league for or against prohibition, or of a society for or against lowering the tariff, or a golf club. You know, so he's like, look, a lot of us are part of these fucking groups, besides from being a part of a church. You know? The opinions which he receives as a Rotarian, he will tend to disseminate in the other groups in which he may have influence. And again, this is why you want to become influential in your communities. So that when you're a part of a group, whether you're a part of a church, a fraternal order, a political party, a charitable organization, whatever it is, you can then spread, well, I call it Uangalifu, right? Or you could spread the good ideas, you could say Garveyism, whatever it is you want to call it. Wherever you have a responsibility to disseminate in the groups, and disseminate ideas in the group of which you have influence. This invisible, intertwining structure of groupings and associations is the mechanisms by which democracy has organized its group mind and simplified its mass thinking. To deplore the existence of such a mechanism is to ask for a society such as never was and never will be. To admit that it is, but expect that it should not be used is unreasonable. Emil Ludwig represents Napoleon as ever on the watch for indications of public opinion, always listening to the voice of the people, a voice which defies calculation. Do you know, he said in those days, what amazes me more than all else? The impotence of force to organize anything. So he says, force doesn't organize people. He says, so this is Napoleon, I think. He says, force doesn't organize people. What organizes people is that media. So he says, it is the fourth estate. So he says, it is the purpose of this book to explain the structure of the mechanism which controls the public mind and to tell how it is manipulated by the special pleaders who seeks to create public acceptance for a particular idea or commodity. It will attempt at the same time to find the due place in the modern democratic scheme for this new propaganda and to suggest its gradually evolving code of ethics and practice. So that's it. That's chapter 1. And I think I'll just read a chapter. It's not that much, but also it's like it gives you guys something manageable, something tangible to read. You don't want to be listening for 4 or 3 hours. It's kind of like whatever. But anyway, that's pretty much the whole podcast. So I appreciate everybody. 4 people dropped a like. Appreciate all 4 likes. There's 6 people in the chat for some reason. If you guys want, you guys could add some likes as well. Other than that, I don't have an ad ready for the Uangalifu book. Uangalifu did kind of stop selling. So now I'm going to kind of, run an ad campaign on the platform that it's being purchased. So hopefully you guys, we'll see how that works out for me. Because I want the book to get out there. you know. And if it costs, it costs. But appreciate everybody who's read it, everybody who's enjoyed it, everybody who's left a review, and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, I appreciate your time this day. Hopefully we can talk next week. Other than that, make sure you guys check out the other podcasts on the network. 2 people commented. Oh, actually, I don't know if it's only 2 people. Let me see. I'm on top chat. It's a live chat. Yeah, it's only 2 people, but 2 great people. So we got Bitter Medicine Podcast, and of course we got our matron. So make sure you guys check out those 2 channels when you're available to. And other than that, Shem Hotep, Uncle Jah Seneb Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua, Netchin.